This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, Heather, ho there. It's Jeff Cutter and welcome you to another Sports Catastrophe on this day. I know there was a day off because I couldn't find anything for April 3rd that I haven't covered. But anyway, time to do a redemption arc in a while. So it's April 4th, 1994. The Arkansas Razorbacks taking on the Duke Blue Devils for the national title game. And this was huge for the Razorbacks. The finals at the Charlotte Coliseum in Charlotte, North Carolina. I thought it was in Atlanta for the longest time. Anyway, so let's talk about the 1994 Arkansas Razorbacks. I know it's kind of self-serving and all that because I'm an Arkansas Razorback fan and all that. And this 94 season was the first tournament that I actually got into and all that. It was kind of weird because you're Canadian and all that. How are you going to get the NCAA tournament? Well, City TV, a Toronto station and all that, kind of like what they call a superstation in a sense. They would always do 1:00 movies and all that, but like they would broadcast the CBS March Madness tournament, and that was the first time I noticed college basketball and sports in general. But and the fact is that Arkansas won the title, so I thought, well, 9-year-old me thought, hey, I'll be a Razorback fan for the rest of my life, and I am. So anyway, the '94 Razorbacks were huge. They played at the Bud Walton Arena in Fayetteville, Arkansas, in the SEC. They were 31-3 throughout the whole season and all that. They did lose to Kentucky in the SEC semifinals, but fortunately for Arkansas, that did not deter them. They got the 1 seed in the Midwest Regional. They would take care of North Carolina A&T, and Georgetown. And no, Allen Iverson was not on that team to go to the Sweet 16 for the 4th time in 5 years. Then they took care of Tulsa, who Nolan Richardson, the coach of Arkansas in '94, actually coached for some years in the '80s. And Michigan, they took care of Michigan, who were badly bruised because their Fab Five had a couple of the Fab Five actually left for greener pastures, aka college. Yeah, Chris Pepper. So anyway, they went to the Final Four for the 5th time in their school's history. They would take care of Arizona before now taking on Duke. And it was just unbelievable what could happen. So anyway, Arkansas was the 1 seed in the Southeast. Why do they call it the Midwest? But anyway, the Southeast. Duke was the 2 seed in their group, the East. They took care of Texas Southern, then Michigan State, then Marquette, then Purdue, who were the 1 seed and had Glenn Robinson, the consensus #1 pick in the '94 NBA draft. And then they took care of Florida. Florida getting to the Final Four? Man, this was before Joakim Noah and crew. So anyway, Arkansas would face Duke. Duke had Jeff Capel, Chris Collins, Grant Hill, Antonio Lang, and Cherokee Parks at their starting lineups. Arkansas's Big Five were Scotty Furman, Corey Beck, Ken Biley, Corliss Williamson, and Dwight Stewart. So anyway, it was a tight game and all that. Arkansas was actually only up 34-33 at the half, so it looked like Duke might pull it off. Remember, Duke won the titles in '91-92. They were looking for their 3rd championship in 4 years. Their chances for a 3-peat were ruined by Cal. Remember California? Cal Berkeley, the Golden Bears with Jason Kidd on that roster? Yeah, I bet you don't. But anyhow, Razorbacks and Duke were playing hardcore. And Arkansas knew they had to do their 40 minutes of hell thing with their defense and their flashy offense. They did. And then the game was tied at 70 when Grant Hill made a huge 3-pointer with 1:30 left. And then, as the shot clock expired, which was 35 seconds, Scotty Furman took a tight shot that just went over Antonio Lang's fingers and into the net. Razorbacks were up 73-70. Scotty Furman, great shot. And then Duke went for a 3. Chris Collins missed it. Clint McDaniel rebounded, was fouled, made 1 of 2 free throws. Arkansas was up by 4. Then they went for 2. Duke did and missed. Corey Beck got rebounded and got fouled. He made 1 of 2 for 75-70. Jeff Capel missed a three-pointer, but Cherokee Parks scored to make it 75-72 with 10 seconds left. They fouled McDaniel. He made 1 of 2 free throws. Arkansas was up by 4. Duke missed their last shot. Arkansas shocks the world and takes down Duke 76-72 in the championship game. It was like, wow, what a time. Anyway, so let's talk about the players for Arkansas. You had the 94 team had Alex Dillard, Clint McDaniel, John Exwell, Corey Beck, Dwight Stewart, Devar Rimick, Ken Biley, Ray Biggers, Scotty Furman, Roger Crawford, Lee Wilson, Corliss Williamson, Reggie Merritt, Albert Martin, and Darnell Robinson. And it's funny seeing Dwight Stewart when you watch the Arkansas highlights of their title run. That Dwight Stewart, he's 6'9", and he's actually making three-pointers and all that. So yeah, they were on a roll. They lost to Bama. They were the #1 team in the country when they lost to Bama to go to 10-1 at Bama. Then they lost to Mississippi State at Mississippi State. And then they lost to Kentucky in the SEC tournament. But they were the #2 overall seed, but they took care of North Carolina, Georgetown, Tulsa, Michigan, Arizona, and Duke. Duke was actually ranked #6. All that, so yeah. That was just amazing and all that. How they could do it. They did. Nolan Richardson was named the Naismith Coach of the Year. Corliss Williamson was named the MVP of the Final Four and was a second-team All-American. Scotty Furman was an honorable mention. Corey Beck and Clint McDaniel did play in the NBA, but they were undrafted. Corliss Williamson did stay another year with the Hogs and got them to the finals in '95, but they lost to UCLA. Corliss was drafted 13th overall by Sacramento Kings. However, he would be most memorable in my mind for being a member of the Toronto Raptors. I mean, I am a bit biased because, Arkansas and the Toronto Raptors. 96, Darnell Robinson was drafted by Dallas. So, yeah, these guys were all fantastic. And the Razorbacks were great. They didn't lose a home game at all, which is actually pretty cool. But yeah, the Razorbacks came back for the 95 season and nearly did it again as they got to the final. They weren't really that great. They were a 2 seed in their group. They would but they did take down Texas Southern and then Syracuse to go to the Sweet 16. And took care of Memphis and Virginia, although the Syracuse and Memphis games had to go to overtime. Then they beat North Carolina in the semifinals before losing to UCLA at the Kingdom. And, it was just not good and all that. I just wish Scotty Furman played in the NBA. He would have been decent. Not good, but decent. Anyway, so the Hogs did it. They were the 1994 NCAA champions and took care of Duke's pride and all that. I mean, to date, that's the only time Arkansas won the national title was 94. But I mean, at least they won a national title. I mean, I know plenty of schools that would kill to have a national title game, and that does include Houston and Virginia. No, Houston. So yeah, it is what it is. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.